At some point, it was bound to happen. At some point, the leaked letter was supposed to be confirmed, and it confirmed. Comrades are already debating it. It took about 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks. I mean, the rumblings have been on for a very long time. In fact, his inability to hold media interviews was the first spark. I mean, and people were worried immediately that this guy just been replaced. Did you even interview him? Maybe those who don't know, let's just watch him and then let's talk.
What does that constitution say about dual membership? Can you hold a dual membership? Can you hold it in the organization? Like be a member of the MK and be a member of another party?
I think when you look in terms of when you join in terms of MK, you join an MK and you become F4. The constitution is not talking about in terms of.
So you won't have an issue with members who do that?
I think yes and no.
Why yes and why no?
Why yes? Yes, that if we are part of the Progressive Front and we believe in that we have a common goal in terms of this is what we want to achieve. The no, because you can't be have a different ideology and come and then say, I want to be a member of the MK party. Because we can't, I mean, ideology is an ideology, and we pride ourselves in terms of the ideology that we carry.
Okay, I'll leave it there because it's a yes and no.
Clement Manyathela is the butcher of political spokespersons currently in South Africa. No one tackles like him, and you know the ease with which he does it reminds me of how Deborah Patta was said to be the best, but even though we knew she wasn't, and at the time I wasn't even a media practitioner at the time, but I knew she wasn't because she was highly involved. She was, the term that we use now is Stratcom and GNU journalist. So at the time, she wasn't the most impartial. She wasn't the most objective journalist that you could have, but she would shred people. But you see, with Clement, he's very neutral. Is unbiased. He just kicks the ball in the field, and then he just gets people in offside positions, and then they cry foul. But Clement Manyathela torn him apart because, and sometimes you could understand, you are an SG given a role to articulate issues that are so complex that the organization itself can't even articulate. Like I say, 8 SGs in around 8 months, 10 months now, 11 months now. So it's been a very long and troubling. Even the Chile boys of Chipampengisi do not fire people like MK is firing. But anyway, let's talk. What does it mean? What are the implications? I do not know, but let's see who we get, who's going to assist us with this. Let me go to Tshwane and see who are we getting in Tshwane.
Hello.
Commander, morning.
Morning, Commander. How are you?
I'm okay. Breaking news. We do not have a secretary at MK Party. True or false?
Well, we we just woke up to those news ourselves, you know, in the absence of any formal announcement or pronouncement by the national organizer, where we remain in the dark and it remains speculation.
Thank you very much, Comrade Convener. Please introduce yourself to the audience. Or where do you operate? What's your capacity and MK?
My name is Commander Stembile Simela, and I'm the coordinator of Atteridgeville Zone. I'm also the convener of Cabo VD, which is my branch, which is the area where I emanate from.
That's in Atteridgeville, Peli.
That's in Pelendaba, yeah, Linda was Pelakona, Commander Moni.
Thank you very much. So, as an outsider from MK, I would say the writing has been on the wall, and it would also be unfair because with all secretaries of MK, the writing just becomes on the wall. And the first interview where Clement Manachela shredded him, people already speculated that he will not last. Did it come as a surprise this morning?
Well, like I said, I can't really confirm if the news are true or not. But assuming if they were, I would think it was rather harsh of Clement to tear him apart, as you journalists always try to do. I think the gentleman deserved an opportunity for him to showcase what he could offer to the MK party. And you know, ever since that letter, it doesn't speak to incompetence or negligence or anything that has to do with his ability. It speaks about his commitment as a medical practitioner in a government department. So I think the stepping down, if assuming it's true, has had to do with his politics and work balance. So I cannot say the writing was on the wall. The guy was warming up, getting heated up. He was very eloquent. We liked what he was saying, and we were looking forward to working with him, really.
Okay, but two letters exist. I mean, people have been calling out his name for a long time that he's going to, and I don't want to talk about who leaked and who didn't what. What does it mean for you in Atteridgeville? Does it change anything? You're just recently at a media launch. You unveiled Tau in Tshwane. What does it mean for him? How are preparations going? Has Floyd Chibambu landed in Tshwane? What are the preparations? People are worried about the machinery of MK in terms of structural discipline. You come from a Congress movement that is structurally solid. Structures are laid bare. Everyone knows who anyone sits, and it's very difficult, as it were, in MK because you are still new. Any hopes and any things that you look ahead? I'm throwing a lot of questions for you to pick which ones you want to run with.
Well, in terms of our structures being put into place, the national organizer, Dr. No, as we affectionately call him, Floyd Chibambu, was specifically brought into the MK party to take care of that matter, that aspects of politics. So he has ostensibly given us the marching orders to put in place VD-based branches, and that's exactly what we're doing. There's no crisis on the ground. Indeed, people continue to inquire and join the MK. Asbabi Zibayazizela. And that's the official MK program. We're very happy with it. And we are in constant communication with this office on the developments. I know my ward, my VD rather, is shaping up nicely. Within a week or two, I'll be in a position to send him my 50+1. So that's the program at this current juncture. We know of no other program except to go to the ground and build our VDs. So Dr. No is given us an order. Of course, it's a national high command order through him, and we appreciate that, and we are responding to that.
Okay, thank you. As the matter stand, in the MK, everyone says Slinde ubaba khulume. So Luena, are you waiting for ubaba? Are you waiting for Nhlamulo Ndlela's letter? Who are you waiting for?
Well, of course, we have channels that we ordinarily use, and Nhlamulo would be one of those channels. The national organizer can easily call a press conference. Remember, they are all communicators of the MK party. So when we speak about Ubaba as the supreme leader and president for life, we speak about a person who has unilateral power to decide on certain matters. So we must not, conflate issues. He uses that card as and when there's a need. But we primarily follow his orders and those of the National High Command. So when Floyd would be calling a press conference, disseminating a message, we would ostensibly and invariably know that it comes from Ubaba and the National High Command. The same applies to our spokesperson, Spitfire, who when he speaks, you would also know that it's JZ speaking there, and the National High Command, as it were.
Commander Mone.
No, thank you very much, Commander Mesh. Thank you. It's always a pleasure, my commander.
Thank you very much. Hit the ground running, and when you are given that date to launch, you know who to call, Mos.
Of course, our favorite journalist in the whole wide world, objective lead. So we just hope you desist from shredding us when you interview us from time to time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commander. Bye.
Okay, bye.
So that is Paley's finest. So it's one of those. It's one of those difficult ones. Let me go to Gauteng. And understand what does it mean for MK. Let me do this. I'm gonna call Comrade Mzubi's. This comrade, he promised me now he's switching off his phone. Well, he's in another call. Hopefully he will come back while we're still recording. So I want you to remember I did a podcast lamenting the fact that Comrade Dr. Maseko was working with Ntoni. It was a letter that was read here. Was working with Ntoni in Gauteng I don't want to destabilize, to parallel structure Gauteng in a way that they were jumping the political authority in Gauteng, and we spoke to Comrade Gamzo and Comrade Pamgan, who are the political leaders, convener and coordinator of Gauteng province, MK politically. And we asked them, what does that mean? They were at pains. They wrote a letter to MK. They even attached Flo Chibampu to say, we've got a problem with this. And I interviewed him. And they were not happy with Dr. Maseko. And even then, rumors that he's not going to stay were already there. Could it have been a contribution? Does it mean the job was too much for him? Smelani says he had too much on his plate. Of course, he knew what he was coming into. When Mangete left, Athazwani said he's got a lot of work and he can't do this. All of them. And then after a few weeks, of course, comrades will come and tell us if someone is not shaping up, they ship out. So meaning after a few weeks, they tell us that person is fired. I don't know what it means, but MK has just lost a comrade in Evan Morali. That's Serame Morali from Durban. That comrade grew up in the politics of Durban, and rumors are because he was let go because he was Mosotho in Zulu-dominated area. Well, comrades, no, man. It's it's neither here or there, that thing, because other comrades to come defend him, they said no, it proves that he was looking for position when he did not ascend and then he left. Of course, I mean, that comrade is, if we hear everything, that comrade served MK in the structures, and that comrade made MK shine from its founding stages. And when he wanted to go to provincial legislature, he was cut off, and then allegations started. They called him a Kumalo guy, and he said he grew tired of it, and he just wanted to leave it. Well, let's try to call Mzu. Maybe this time we'll take a call. Nah, it's not gonna take a call. No, it's not going to take a call. Well, he initially agreed to take a call with us. I don't know what it means. Are they going to call another press conference to announce? Are they going to issue a letter signed by any of them? We don't know what it means, but the story is out there. Thank you very much, Machine Political Incorrect. You'll tell us what you feel about it. Comrade Mzu?
Yes, Abona.
How are you, comrade?
I'm fine, and you, my leader?
I'm fine. Machine Political Incorrect. We are recording a podcast. We just want to hear your sentiment around the departure of the secretary. Anything that you want to comment on?
Okay. Oh yes, my leader. Yeah, basically, do you know that an organization that keeps changing secretaries at times, it can be due to the change in strategies, right?
Yes.
And to place better person in positions. I'm of the view that now that the secretary has left, Secretary General, he has raised it very clearly that he has been recalled, his suspension has been uplifted where he's working, he's living. I think we all know his type of approach in terms of doing his political work in the organization, his approach, his leadership style. We are of the wish that maybe, because he was part and parcel of the revolutionary project that we've been driving, although he cannot be the same in terms of leading leader. His departure has left a vacuum, it's true. And on the other hand, it's giving an opportunity for the new SG to take over and sort of take the direction to where we think it should be going as the membership. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Comrade Mzuzi. Please, please just reintroduce yourself. You are not it's not the first time you come to the podcast. Please reintroduce yourself to our audience, or and what capacity do you currently serve in the MK?
Okay, by the way, I was speaking as an ordinary member.
No problem.
Let me just come in on that, but I'm also serving as the head of elections and the political education in the province, the commissariat, right? So I was carrying this province during the election period, during the registration period, and beyond the election period, shortly before the PICs could take over. So I've worked with Dr. Maseko in the PIC. He was part of the research team under the team that I was leading in the province before he left to become the National High Command. So like I'm saying that the leadership styles would differ from person to person. He played his role as the SG. Hopefully where he's going, maybe he's going to play another role. But I heard that he's saying that he's still going to serve in the National High Command. Yeah. So I've been working with him at the provincial level. We worked with him again when he was at the High Command during the election period. But yes.
Do you think he worked so hard that he left MK at the high, that even if there's no immediate replacement in that position, you will not suffer a blow? I'm saying that at the backdrop of I've read the Constitution, and I've actually realized that the Secretariat is a very solidified team. It's a very big department that also encompasses the work of Comrade Floyd as an organizer. So the vacuum might not be felt as immediate, maybe with other political parties. So when do you think you may want to fill the position? And I'm asking you as an ordinary member, what is it that you would prefer?
Okay. Just to start with that thing that it's very good that you are noting that the SG position is a very big position and the office itself is very big in MK. Remember, the Secretary General is the backbone of the organization, right?
Yes.
Is the mother figure. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
I see your phone is calling me again.
No, it can't be me.
The Secretary General is a mother figure of the organization, is the welfare officer, is the display. I'm sorry, sir. The Secretary General is a welfare officer, is the mother figure, is a disciplinarian. Basically, it's everything to the organization, more like a mother, you see?
Yes.
So in any event that the SG would leave, remember that it's giving the political and strategic basically the strategic direction of the organization. So when there is a long vacuum, you might find the comrades wanting. But in any event that comrades will find themselves wanting with the SG, it also becomes a problem. But I want to take a little bit back that remember that there's been some dissatisfaction by a number of members within the province, right?
Yes.
On the strategic and political direction of the organization. It was not something that was dumbstruck. It was because they felt that there is a number of areas that are being left behind as we move forward in building the organization. There are some honest and deliberate oversights that are being made that are rendering the organization weak. So the SG is living at the time when we've been busy engaging with him so that he's finding a direction or is finding a way of intervening and making sure that I repeat that, and making sure that he is part of the people that want to see the redress and rectifying of the challenges that are experienced in the organization. Remember that we are from the Hoover. There are documents that were adopted by the whole nation, the whole country nationwide, the constitution, the political documents. So we're hoping that we'll carry those forward. They'll be the mantra within the organization. We'll run with them from VD up until national, from national till VD level. But along the way, there was no interest in pushing those documents very robustly. You see?
Yeah.
So maybe that might have been an honest oversight that in the absence of a political direction in a political organization, you will never have it strong. So I'm saying that the SG concentrated more on the administrative matters, concentrated more on the organizational method of work. Remember that in the organization, you'll find the organizational method of work, you'll find the political work, and find the organizational work. But during this period that was in SG, the administrative focus was too much, more than the political work and the ideological work. So that is where the organization was not able to base. You can set structures in the organization. If there's no proper tutelage, political consciousness, those structures are not going to stand as expected. Even if you can have strong administration, but with the absence of political acumen, the structures are like an empty vessel.
Thank you, Comrade Mzu. We expected in the last major press conference, we expected provinces to be given their heads, where we are going to see a lot of structures, and the biggest announcement of which was Mpumalanga and KZN. Do you know, do you have an indication of, because when I come to Mzu, it's very difficult for us as media practitioners to incorrectly call someone something that is not, because the wheels of change go rapidly. You guys are victims of your own success. You punch way above your weight. You guys are too strong. You can't even stand. So it's like a baby who's 30 kilograms, but is just small. And because you guys are big, calling Dr. Maseko out by the provincial structures of MK, that he was destabilizing and he was found wrong to be doing parallel structures at MK. I thought what would then happen is to say, okay, it's fine. Let's have defined, well-defined structures, because now the constitution is here, and now the impending press conferences. What could have been the delay? Are you hinting at that structural and administrative errors from the SG could have delayed this big announcement that we're waiting for?
In a sense, like I said earlier on, that the leadership structures, whatever experience and approaches would differ from leader to leader. But where there is an absence of communication, you find just a very adverse disjuncture, where structures can't talk to each other at different levels. For instance, we've been experiencing a culture where the structures are not communicated to, where there's a very serious communication that comes from nationally, won't go straight to people that is intended to. It will send through people via public. That was a weakness of the organization and an upper structure, that how do you communicate with the structure and not address the correspondence to them? It creates some tiffs, it creates caution, it creates suspicions. But later on, we called order and tried to rectify that matter, but it persisted. Yeah, it affected the organization very strongly. And secondly, in an event that you have a structure where there's an allegation that there are parallels, there are things that are not going as expected, as a leader or any leader would go to people, reach out to everybody who's complaining. You don't say, I love you or I don't love you. You reach out to anybody, even if it's not nice, even if it's sour. You extend your hand, you listen to the people that are raising concerns, and listen to them and make your own determination and deliberation. But in this situation, no one listened to anyone. I hear you saying that Gauteng approached called for the SG to step down and everything. But let me just rephrase it. The comrades from Gauteng, Mpumalanga, KZN, about 7 provinces by the way, they reached out to the president of the country and said to him, things are not well. They identified the things that were not done correctly. They were more focused on things that were not done correctly than calling for the heads of individuals. Unfortunately, some of them were located in 1 or 2 people, those functions that were not done properly. So that is when maybe the name of Dr. Maseko or the name of other leaders came in to say that it's them who must account for that. But in essence, the issue was that the MK party is denuded its political content, it's denuded its ideological impetus in what you are doing. And the painful part is that an organization, for it, when it's degraded and it's going down, you won't see it tonight or today. You will see it 5 to 7 years down the line or 4 years down the line. That man, what we should have addressed 3 years ago, it's affecting us now. If I can tell you one thing, that there are 3 or 4 comrades in the past 4 weeks, 3 weeks if I'm not mistaken. These are national figures, people that have been running left, right and center for this organization, people who approached the president and confided in him on the formation of the organization. Those comrades are left in large, especially in KZN. They are very disorientated, they are very down, very hurt, not because they are ignored that much, but because the direction of the organization seems to be affected by some tiny things that are done by individuals that are not aimed at building the organization. You come to Gauteng again as a province. There was a situation where comrades had to be taken on board about the organization before and post elections. But conditions were deliberately made that the conditions are not such that comrades can be able to be part and parcel of building their organization beyond elections. By building, meaning that deployment to legislatures, to national parliament, deployment within the organization, the strategic focus of the organization, they were sidelined in all those things. So it's very much painful that when you're a BEC leader, a ward leader, a RRWC leader, a leadership or provincial leadership, you are not involved in the life of the organization. Instead, you see things deciding about you, about your structure. It frustrated a number of people. As a result now, we are going all over trying to talk to comrades and please, comrades, this is our organization. Don't be down, don't sit down and everything. The hype, we nearly lost the hype that we had before elections. But we are trying to regain that because it convinced a number of comrades that we need each other, we need this organization. And in doing that, we are even reaching out to comrades that saw us as enemies, or maybe we saw them as enemies because there's no enemy in an organization. If there are 1 or 2 individuals that are affecting the organization, They'll have to isolate, identify it and isolate it so that the organization survive. Because we cannot sacrifice the organization at the expense of 3 or 4 selfish, individualistic people.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yesterday, I did a podcast on the departure of Comrade Evan Morali from Durban.
Yes. Name, yes.
Yeah, man.
That's Name.
Yeah, man. Comrade Name is, I mean, having worked so hard for MK, and he gave up. He left.
Yes.
I still don't have a letter, and so everything I say would be speculative. Anything that you can share on the sentiments regarding him?
Yeah. Luckily, our comrade spoke to Comrade Name. Remember that Comrade Name is one of the comrades who used to confide with Ubaba long before the establishment of MK. He would go to Ubaba, they would even walk in the field, outside the doors, the walls of yes. They would sit down there and plan and do everything. But the unfortunate part is that Comrade Name was overlooked. Comrade Name is a commissar. Comrade Name his life is politics. He breathes, he sleeps and talks politics. Comrade Name was isolated away from the organization that he was in before coming to Mkondo Party. So when he came to MK, just like all comrades, because this is our political home, the only hope for all the comrades that came to MK Party. But instead, the hijacking of an organization that resulted in some of the comrades being deployed and him being overlooked. It is true that some would say that he's an opportunist, he wanted a position. But it should not be the case where we don't acknowledge comrades properly. The comrades has been down, has been working for the organization day in, day out. Not that he wanted to be paid. That Comrade Name, you are destined for 1, 2, 3. But along the way, he was isolated. He even complained about tribalism at some stage. We know that he even complained about being sidelined by people that he thought are leaders that should be uniting the province. But as we speak now, comrades have spoken to him to please reverse your decision to withdraw. They are still engaging with him because losing that comrade is very, very painful. And at the same time, it's to humiliate the comrade in doing that. He was in the list, destined for parliament, he was taken out. He led the province, he was taken out. Not that he's the only comrade, but he's one of the comrades that you cannot just wish them away. He's an asset of the organization. He has been part and parcel of people that drafted some of the documents when it was not fashionable to do so in MK Party. So isolating such a person, it means that you are just against the organization and its life. So this is what has been happening around. We don't know whether this is systematic, whether it's deliberate. A number of comrades that have been sweating with the organization are on their sidelines watching whatever that is happening, and they don't have a say, just like that. And then people will tend to go out and say that there are comrades who don't want comrades that are coming in that are new. Everybody who wants MK and believe in its vision is accepted in the organization. But there need to be consideration of efforts of comrades. Once you have a comrade who's leading and not able to consider that, then there's some political coldness and virginity there.
So you know
when I say political virginity,
I understand. I deliberately want to jump that. Unless you want to dwell on it, unless you want to explain it, so those who don't understand can.
You can go forward. You can.
Thank you.
Let's proceed.
So, you come from the school of thought that believes in serious political education, and Comrade Name is the epitome of that. I mean, his rich political mind. I mean, being a founding father of this thing is very important. And as you go on, new people are going to come. And if these people, it's your responsibilities to teach them this political education, and especially of MK. And especially there's this malicious thing that I spoke about in my previous podcast of people wanting to link someone with the ANC as if it's a bad thing, because the MK itself is a struggle of black people, same as MK, same as ANC, because you come from there. And this rich history of explaining to people is very dangerous, because the new ones who are going to come, where you guys don't have an opportunity to teach them this political education, are going to be found wanting. So with that, I just want to ask you, those who formed the party, those who were on the ground with Comrade Name and Bo Kumalo, are they treated well?
Yes.
Are they being seen as a nemesis in this organization? Because there's a danger of people being called Isocha Laga Kumalo, unceremoniously trying to discredit them for having been there from the start. Is that a danger that you foresee?
By the way, I think we've passed that. Maybe one or two people might want to bring that back.
Yeah.
I remember that when Comrade was taken out of the organization, we did not see an exodus of comrades leaving.
True.
So, and it's a good thing that you are raising that. Are people that follow him not persecuted or something like that, right?
Yes.
From what I've observed, the MK has been very, very good and kind, because I'm not aware of a situation where a person was next to Comrade Kumalo was sidelined. I know there are many comrades from High Command, from the provincial leadership, who have worked with Kumalo when he was leaving there. Obviously, if you'd expel me today or I'll leave the organization and go out and go to everybody that I've recruited and say that they must leave, then you are killing the organization.
True.
And from where I am, I've never observed a situation where we've got comrades that are saying that, or where there's evidence that people from Kumalo are influencing everything. There are nuances that there might be something like that. But where I am, I've not seen any comrades who've been sidelined because he was with Kumalo. But I've noted a lot of comrades who have come in for some reasons that we don't believe in. For example, if a comrade will come there, you are here to build the organization. They are more focused on monies, on bank accounts, on buying people and everything. They might be associated with Kumalo, they might be associated with you or with me and anything, but once you do something that is untoward in an organization, then heads should roll, regardless of where you are.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mzu.
On the issue,
yeah.
there is another thing that you raised about the ANC and MK being the organization fighting for black people.
Yes.
Right? I think let's put this into proper perspective, right?
Thank you.
I'm a former ANC member. The ANC does not represent the black aspirations. It's a fact. ANC is a neoliberal organization. Remember that the leadership of the ANC, it's more friendly and compatible with the neoliberal project outside the ANC that is led by the DA and the global capital, right? So MK is totally away from that.
Thank you
MK is totally away from that. I mean that it's oil and water. Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mzu. Let me let you go. Thank you very much for taking a call. Yes. And I hope you steady the ship together, especially here in Gauteng, so the wheels of change can continue unabated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commander.
Machine politically incorrect. We are at the depth of this. Let's let it go. You tell me what you feel about it. He spoke about a lot of things, by the way. Thank you.